Welcome, fearless dreamers. This is a new episode of the Unstoppable Immigrant podcast. My name is Martina, I'm your host and pilot, and today we have a very unique guest, Lola Ruiz, and she is taking us on a journey to Colombia. This journey is full with laughter, fun, and unstoppable energy. So buckle up, we are taking off.
Wow!
Yes! Lola,
Hello.
welcome to the podcast episode. I'm so thankful to have you this evening.
Thank you.
It's a unique opportunity to work together again. So let's dive into it.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so amazing. I really love being here. Thank you.
Oh. All right. Please tell to our listeners, where in Colombia are you from?
Well, I am from Bogota in Colombia. That's the capital city. But I would say that I was raised in most of my life, or the time at least that I was in Colombia, in a little town that is called Fusagasugá. Like a very weird name. It's like 2 hours away.
Fusagasugá?
Yeah.
Really? Fusagasugá?
Yeah, it's a funny
I love that name. That's such
You actually said it pretty good. You said it pretty good because most of the time people are like, what's that? But yeah, that's we moved there when I was like 4 years old until I was like 16. So I would say I belong more there. My parents still live there, but I was born in Bogota though. Yeah.
Okay, so say again the name of the city.
Fusagasugá.
Fusagasugá. How many people is there, or how big is the city?
Well, I would say it's been growing a lot. So it used to be like a town back then. Now when I go, it's like it's growing. So I would say it's like around 200,000 people. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Pretty
been
decent.
growing. Back then it was much less people. Now it's like they have to build things and make it bigger because of the same reason. Yeah.
So how was it growing up there? How was your childhood there?
It was pretty good. Back then it was a pretty safe place. To be honest, like I think I was an adult since I was very little. Like since I was like 7, I would. My parents were working. They're like business owners. My whole family are business owners. So I never knew what it is to go 9 to 5. I never saw anyone around me doing 9 to 5. So I saw my parents growing business since I was a kid, and so I was a lot of time alone, kind of with my siblings. I have a brother and a sister. So I was most of the time with them at home and with our nanny, of course, because someone had to take care of us. But it was pretty safe. Like we always lived in nice places, so we were always in the pool and playing outside and just having so much fun. It was pretty nice. I was always with my sister, kind of like his mother, and yeah, I have like nice memories of my childhood.
Oh, that's beautiful. That
Yeah.
sounds like pretty wholesome childhood.
Yeah, like actually, now that I've seen more things in the world, I can say and I'm so proud and so grateful that my family is such a nice family, like full of values, like very united, very loving. So I always thought that most families were like that because that's what I always saw. And then like actually late in my life, like in my 20s, I realized that no, that's not the usual thing, out there. And I was like, what? How come? Like I thought all families were loving and yeah, it took me like a lot of years to understand no, most families are not like that. So now I'm so grateful that I grew up in a very nice home, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I love that for you.
Thank
And
you.
how was being a teenager in Colombia?
It was fun. I would say I was always pretty free. I would say maybe because the same reason that my parents were always working. They raised us in a way that they trust me, they trust us so much that I could pretty much do whatever I wanted, but I was not really like, for example, I don't know, back then people wanted to go party, getting drunk and all of that, and I was like, I went to a couple parties. I was like, okay, I'm done. This is this is fun. I'm done. This is enough for me. So I was more interested in actually learning and planning for the future, and I was already obsessed with my future. So I guess that's why, like, I kind of always feel like I don't want to waste time, and that was
Wow.
part of me, yeah, from a very young age, and that's what then after years after moved me to do so many things in a very at a very young age, I would say.
That's so
Yeah.
impressive. You were always on point from like the young age. So, wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, did you go to university?
Yes.
What did you study?
So I went to university. I started at I was 16 when I started the university. So for to go to university, I had to leave my town and move back to Bogota, to the big city. So since I'm 16, I'm pretty much being on my own because I left my family, I left everyone. It was kind of close, a couple hours, but I completely moved to the big city, and I went to school for film. So I studied production and direction in the filmmaking world.
Love, love, love that. Do you want to tell us more about it?
Yes, of course. So I can say I got obsessed with the filmmaking and the photos and just the magic of capturing images since I was literally 2 or 3 years old. I remember so vivid the moment I was watching the TV and I was obsessed. It was actually I remember it was a music video of Ricky Martin. He's like a Puerto Rican artist.
Yes, very good looking one.
Of course. And back then he was like super, super like trendy, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Ricky Martin." And I was like so little. And I would grab my mom's camera, like the photos camera, which was broken. I was so mad always because like, why is this broken? Like I wanted to take pictures, but either way it worked. So I would grab it like this, and I would stand in front of the TV, imagining that I'm taking photos or filming Ricky Martin. That's what I would dream. Yeah, I remember so vividly, and I was so little. And I was living in Bogota, and back then it was like a very average like neighborhood. My parents were just starting, like they were just in the beginning of their life, so we were like very humble. Like we had it all, but it was not like super abundant. And that stuck with me for my whole life. So by 10, when my dad bought his first camera, and he comes home with a video camera, that you put like some tapes and you just grab it like this. He's like, okay, this is something super expensive, so we're gonna use it here and there, but be careful. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like I grabbed it and I never put it away. Like I had it with me all the time, like all the time. I was yeah, it was pretty sweet. Like I was filming everything. I would take it to school, everywhere. So I got really obsessed with that, and I was always like checking, okay, I'm gonna do this angle, I'm gonna do it from here, I was just imagining how, like, if I always knew it, how to do it. That's how I felt back then.
You were born with a talent, I feel like.
I think so.
Yes,
Now
yes.
I see things like that, like, wow, that's my gift.
For sure. Confirmed.
Yeah.
100%. So back to Colombia, okay?
Yes.
Maybe we'll dive into that in a second. But okay, so what do you like? What is the one thing about Colombia that you wish more people knew of?
That's a great question. You know that Colombia has been known for different things. In different moments of life. Back then, it was not the best reputation. It was a lot of violence and stuff. To be honest, now as a woman living in Miami, I sometimes feel that now the vision that most people have about Colombia, yeah, it's like a beautiful country. And yes, it has beautiful women, but sometimes it's not like the best way, it's like beautiful women, but I don't know, sometimes it's a little interesting, the perception that people have now about Colombian and Colombians. So I would say something people should know is like there's amazing people, like creative people, and when it comes to women, there's a lot of very hardworking women that have built empires that are super admirable. That I personally, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's great people out there that are really building things and making things happen. Not just maybe the shallow perception that we have about Colombians and specifically Colombian women. And that's something I'm very proud of. Like I love women building things and creating. So that's something I would say. I would like more people to know about that.
Aw, that's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
So, from your hometown to Bogota, why Miami? Why United States of America?
Miami, U.S. I think it was just so meant to be. When I was very young, I would say around 8 or 10 years old, I always liked to imagine that I could. So back then, I wanted to somehow get into politics when I was little, because I wanted to make my city prettier, cleaner, organized, safe. So I was like, oh, I want to live in a kind of a place like that. So I thought I had to change my environment. And then when I started, I don't know, paying attention to movies, and I remember specifically like a documentary about South Beach, and I saw everything so nice and so clean, and people like working out and stuff, and I was like, wait, I don't have to change anything. Those places already exist somewhere. I just gotta get there somehow. And it got really stuck in my head, like, I don't know. So I always felt in my heart that I didn't belong to Colombia in a way. Like I was not just, how to say, built or made to just stay in Colombia. Like from a very young age, I knew I had to go somewhere where things were bigger and where dreams were bigger. So that was the US, and specifically Miami. I really wanted to be in Miami because of that documentary that I watched. And then when I had the chance to leave the country for the first time, I was like at 16 or something like that. It was to Miami, and I started coming every summer. And I just fell in love every time more and more. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just felt that I belong here since day one, literally.
I have goosebumps because every single guest says the same thing. There is something about Miami. I feel like I belong here. It's my home, and yeah, I think it's pure magic.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
feels something
like,
about this city.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the city just attracts, a lot of people that will come with similar mindset and with the
Yes.
similar dreams. And I think that's just like an energy or something, but it's beautiful. So I always knew it was meant to be here in Miami. 100%.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad you're here so I get to
Thank
meet
you. Right, me too. I'm so glad I meet you too.
So tell us how long ago you moved here actually.
So I moved here 9 years ago. It's gonna be
9 years ago.
Yeah, like I think next week is gonna be 9 years ago exactly.
Yay, it's
Yes.
an anniversary!
Podcast anniversary, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And it was always in Miami. You've always been in Miami.
Always. Like, yeah. I got here, I knew it was here, I studied here, and I love it here.
Wow. Okay, so 9 years in. What was the toughest part of moving here? Did you have any moment where you just cried all the time, all night long?
I've had pretty great moments, ups and downs. I've had, yeah, difficult moments but like, I would say I had moments where I was broke. I had moments where I was broken, literally. I had moments where I was sick, literally, like my body was sick for 4 years. I had moments where, yeah, I had all type of situations. So but it was never in my mind like, okay, let me go back to Colombia, because in Colombia I can say I'm so grateful that I have it all, right? So my family lives pretty good, everything is pretty great over there. But still, no matter how hard it was here, I'm like, no, I'm meant to be here.
Yes, and that's the mindset
Yeah,
you
like
love.
it was always like, there's no, like, so I just kept going. And I think mindset is so important because I went through a lot of like serious health issues, and it was my mind who actually helped me recover. And I never felt like I'm gonna give up. Like I really, it takes a lot of effort to me to even think that I'm gonna give up something. Like it just is not built. I'm not built like that. So I would take a rest, and I would go to Colombia, spend some time with my family, and kind of recharge, and come back like, okay, I'm stronger. Let's keep going. But definitely, I've had a few moments, very interesting moments.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. That means a lot. Do you want to share a little bit more maybe about how you overcome the sickness, or is that something you rather don't talk about?
No, that's actually pretty great. I'm actually, that's something I love. So I come here 2016, and as soon as I could to get into production, I went all in. Like I was always pursuing that dream, right? Because that's why I moved here. Actually, that's part of why. So I was back then. I was like, I've been always like very healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I work out. I've been always like on top of those things. I started production, and around 2017, my body started just changing. I started gaining weight, and I just had a bunch of symptoms, like very weird. I was just 25, 26, and I was like, why am I feeling so bad? And long story short, I spent like 4 years like sick completely, every day waking up sick, brain fog, a lot of things, like everything changed. I had depression, I had a lot of things, but doctors wouldn't help. Like they thought like I was just, I don't know, imagining it or something. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
oh my God, yeah, like literally, like I think that's called medical gaslighting or something like that. So I had to literally study myself, like study all about health and researching and everything, until I kind of auto-diagnosed myself, and it was a thyroid issue that I was having. Um, and it was, to be honest, because I was working so hard that I was just not resting. I was like, no days off, like this mentality, like, no, I got this. And of course, I needed to work, and I was just building my life here. So it took a price on my health. And even though I was loving what I was doing, because I love production, and I was doing 12, 15, 20 hours a day, I was not, it never felt like work. So I was just going. But yeah, this took a price. So I had to slow down. And basically, with my mindset, and even though doctors would say like, no, you get used to this is your new normal, you're aging, this and that. I'm like, what are you saying? I was 25, 26. I'm like, what do you mean I'm aging? Like that makes no sense. Like,
Wow.
yeah, so if you're out there and you have some hormonal issues or some imbalances that you have symptoms, and maybe they don't believe you, you keep going and keep researching, because no one knows your body better than you. And that's like, for me, I never believed once that I was gonna be sick forever, or that was my new normal. Like I was, for me, like that was like so wrong. So I literally started taking supplements. I went to Colombia to different kind of functional doctors, and I really kept fighting until I recovered my health. Literally with um, managing stress, I slowed down. I kind of just took care of my body in a way that I wasn't. And now I feel more healthy than ever. I'm 32 years old now, and I'm just so proud that I never gave up, and that my mind didn't allow me to even think that was it.
You are very impressive. I'm very proud of you,
Oh, thank
and
you.
it's very inspirational.
Thank you, honey.
Wow.
Thank you.
You are very strong
I,
here, so
yeah.
please never change. If
Thank
you had to sum up this crazy immigration journey just with one word, what would that be?
Ooh, for me, it's being growth.
Growth.
That's the word. That's 100%. Like, I knew I wanted to come here to become the woman I wanted to become, and that has taken me a lot of growth and transformation, and just keep going. Growth is my word. Yeah, 100%.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
This episode is brought to you by MAXI Events, Miami's luxury event planner and your go-to for unforgettable celebrations. Let MAXI Events craft a romantic experience you will never forget. Booking form is in the show notes.
So we spoke about the bad things, but let's now focus on great things.
Yeah.
So looking back, what is like, wow, I've made it, I'm so proud of myself moment for you?
Oh, yes, I have. So like one moment that I really felt like it felt very emotional for me was I was filming a music video in the SLS in Miami Beach
For Ricky Martin?
for Ricky Martin.
No!
Yes,
I was just
literally.
kidding. You did?
Yes, it was Ricky Martin and Maluma, and I was there.
Vente pa' acá?
Yes,
Get out.
the video. So in that one, I was not yet behind the lens, sorry. I was in front of the camera because the way I got into production was by being a model first. Because I'm like, how do I get there? Okay, let me be a model. And it wasn't my thing to be in front of the camera. But when they tell me like, okay, tomorrow you have to come here, the video is Ricky Martin and Maluma. And it was a beautiful scene. In that video you can see.
On the rooftop with the sunset.
It's the rooftop with the sunset. And he's just dancing right there, like, I don't know, like this distance. I was like, crying. I was like, the camera's here. I'm like, I was like, oh my gosh, it just became true. That little dream that I had, it's happening. And in that moment, I felt like, yes, I knew it. I knew it. I had to follow my gut. It was a very nice moment.
What? I can't speak anymore.
That was a nice one.
I had teary eyes. I need to cry.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And you know what's the nicest part? Like that specifically moment was I was just starting. I was not even in production yet. I was just getting there. And it's not even related to the money, because sometimes we think like the moment I made it, maybe it's when you feel related to money or status but for me, this was just like the connection to my inner child, like
to your purpose.
Knew it. Yeah, it's like I was just thinking the little Lola and like shaking her hand, like we knew it, and this is just the beginning. That's what I thought in that moment, literally.
Oh my God, I need to cry. I think. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I remember when the video came out because I lived with a Colombian roommate that time, and I remember when the video was popular and yeah, crazy.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a couple of videos I have some cameos and with some other artists, and that was like the beginning. Then as soon as I could create contacts like behind the lens, I transitioned to production right away. But it was fun. I can't
I
complain.
love how you did it because you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I need to do something. And you started with modeling, and to get behind the lens, like, wow, like.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, let's move on. So your English is really perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any English word that still gives you headache?
Oh, I'm sure. I think one that I've been working on is entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur?
Is it good?
Entrepreneur?
Is it good? Entrepreneur.
That's important to know because you are one.
Right.
Yeah, so we need to know how to say this word right.
I think that's why I had to learn it so much because I was like, how? before I say like entrepreneur, like how do I
Yeah.
say this? And then I just would pay attention so much, and I'm like, no, it's like an entrepreneur. Okay, entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
So I'm almost there, but I'm sure. I don't know. I would have to think, but I'm sure like there's moments that I say funny things, and yeah.
I have a friend who was here on the podcast. She was actually interviewing me, and we were talking about this, and we were talking how the word success for me was hard to like learn, but I was like, I need to learn this word because I'm going to be successful. And she's like, no, she's like, no, it's how she said it. She's like, it's how she said it, successful, or she just messed it up, and she's like, I thought you were like saying it wrong this entire time, and I'm like, no, you are saying it wrong, and we had like this little interaction. But
That's funny.
yeah, there's a lot of words
Success.
that we
Yeah.
need to know because that's the future. But anyway, I
Yeah.
have a little tongue twister for you. Are you ready?
Oh my gosh. Okay, that I'm really bad at that.
It's actually not that bad. It's one line that I just would like you to repeat reading 3 times and each time faster.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, I love that. This is pretty cool.
Okay, so this is first for our listeners. And voila, this is for you now, my love.
Oh, okay. So I have to repeat it 3 times.
3 times, each time más rápido.
Okay. Oh, she speaks Spanish. So, blue glue gun, green glue gun. Okay. Blue glue gun, green glue gun.
You
Blue
sound
glue
so
gun,
cool.
green glue gun.
Good!
Yeah, did I say it?
That
Did I
was
say it?
great!
Okay, that's cool.
That was great.
Blue glue gun, gun. I
Glug, glug,
forgot.
glug, glug.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. I was like, oh my god.
Attention, listeners! Don't forget to leave us a review to help this podcast grow. You can also subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and Spotify to keep up with the latest episodes. And now, thank you so much for flying the Unstoppable Immigrant airwaves, and let's get back to the show.
So looking back at these 9 years of your immigration journey, how has being an immigrant shaped you into who you are today?
Oh,
Oh.
everything. Oh my gosh, everything. The person I am today and the woman I'm becoming, because I'm always evolving somehow. It's been all a product of literally thinking one day. I remember I was in Colombia. I was having lunch, and I said, you know, I'm just gonna move to Miami. Like out of the blue, I said, I'm gonna move to Miami. I bought the tickets. Then I told my parents, like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna move to Miami. And they're like, what? And before that, I went to Spain for a couple of years. So they were like, no, again, like you're leaving us. I'm like, yeah, but this is for good. Like I know. And from that moment that I made that decision to here, it's been so many lessons. Like I've been through so many things that as you say, I'm strong. Like I never realized how strong I can be, like especially mentally, until I came to this country and I've been through so many things, you know, that I'm like, wow, if I wasn't that strong, I wouldn't make it in this situation, like crazy situations I've been. And it's, yeah, literally it has shaped every part of me. Like, you know, take risk and eliminating so many things of my, I don't know, limiting beliefs, you know,
Yes, limiting beliefs.
like that's been a big part. Also the people I met, you know, that also pour into me. It's just everything. It just is the best decision I ever made, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy, and yeah, I would ever change anything that I
Yeah.
I've
Oh my
been
god.
through.
Let's go. So you have very strong mindset. You love to visualize and dream. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? About your mindset and how to keep yourself like focused, eyes on prize?
Yes, I would say part of my mindset when I was very young, I didn't, good or bad back then, as I mentioned, I was always like, I don't want to waste time. I want to make the most out of the time I have. And that really helped me to, as I said, to do so many things. And yeah, it was great. And then also in my 20s, then I think I switched to say, let me try, say yes to everything. Even if I don't know how to do something, let me say yes, and then I figure it out. I'll just learn in the process. And a lot of production in the beginning was like that. I would say yes to anything. Like, Lola, you know how to do this or that? I'm like, of course. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, okay, how I get it done? And that forced me to be creative and to solve situations that I would never imagine I could solve, and to just, yeah, like trying so many things. Now in my 30s, I'm more focused. Okay, with all of that experience, I'm more focused on my purpose, and everything is just much more clear. But definitely, if you're in your 20s and you have all the time, try and say yes and risk and go for it, and really take advantage of your time, because we feel like our 20s, we are going to be 20 forever, and then when you least expect, you're 30, and then you're like, oh wait, I was just partying and wasting so much time. Again, I'm not against that, because I think it's part of life, but it's like a good balance. Don't let that take so much of your time, and start building from a young age, because then in your 30s and your 40s, you're gonna be so happy you did. So that's something I would say.
So you just gave little advice to our listeners, but if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is starting their immigration journey now, what's the advice for them?
Oh, I would say, if you are here, it's for a reason. There's no coincidences, and as once you felt it, as once I felt it, that we were meant to be here, stick to it. Stick to the plan. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be gray also. It's like ups and downs, but you are in a great place, and just keep going. Keep going. Surround yourself with people that make you feel a little bit more home, and join communities, and surround yourself with the right people, because that's also very important, because you can get here and maybe find the wrong people, and that's not gonna be good. But if you do surround yourself with the right people, you're gonna grow, you're gonna achieve anything in life. But keep going. Just don't give up. That would be my advice. Don't give up.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love these questions. Yeah, they're really
You're
great.
gonna love the next one. So, what is your definition of success?
Oh,
Let's
I
get
know you
into
say
that.
pretty good. Success.
Success.
Wow. I think that definition, it's been something that has changed through the years. Before, I thought that someone successful or success was very related to money and to status and things like that. That's what maybe I saw. But now, for example, after I went through health issues, for me, success is having your health on point, and waking up every day feeling great and blessed that your body is working perfectly, that nothing hurts, that everything is on point, that you have your family, that everyone is healthy, that you have love in your life, that you have a good balance, and that you do what you love. And more importantly, I would say that you are helping others, and that you are impacting lives. I think I heard this once last year at a workshop or something like that, and someone said, like, you are not really successful until you are helping others. That's when you actually
Agreed.
become successful. And I was like, oh, that's so true. And then it became my obsession now. So it's great. That's success for me now.
I love how you're such a sponge of like soaking in information, and when something resonates with you, it becomes like your new norm or mantra or affirmation or however you would like to call it. But I see that in you, that you really are open to get educated and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, I think that's important, I guess.
Yes, it is. So, helping others. Let's talk about what you do because you are very creative and you are a founder of Conte Studio, and that's a high-end creative production company specializing in interviews and mini documentaries for women.
Yes.
Obsessed with the idea.
Thank you.
So spill all the details, please, because we all, like everybody needs to know.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so Conte is my new baby. I would say it's the summary of everything that I've been through pretty much in my whole life. Like everything has forced me to come to this point where now I'm so much more aware of myself, of my talents, of my gift, as I mentioned before. Sometimes I think when we have a talent in something that is so natural for us, we just kind of take it for granted or we just think it's normal until you realize that no, not everyone has the same talent.
It's blessing.
Right? It's like it's something unique that you have. And I think for a few years I forgot I had this talent that it's been because it's been with me forever. So I thought it was just something normal. But life took me to different routes until I realized that I just can't live without creating. Like, I need to be behind the lens. That's my obsession. So, after I went through different journeys, production, then businesses that had nothing to do with production, I came back and and a very important point to get to Conte is I started also healing my feminine energy because until last year I was always in male environments, male industries, like always that was like my comfort zone. But I knew I had to work on my femininity, and that's when I started surrounding myself with women and understanding for the first time in 32 years that we are so powerful when we're together, and we're like just something else. Women are the most beautiful and powerful creatures in this world. And I never gave myself the opportunity to be around women because I always had like a wall, like from my childhood, certain things that happened. I was always like, no, I don't trust women. I just don't feel comfortable. But when I went all in the journey to heal that part, and I just start meeting women and listening to their stories, I was so obsessed. I couldn't stop. Like, I'm like, tell me your story. I want to know more. And I really get so much into it that once I had a breakthrough and I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. I need to give women my talents and my gift, which is putting together productions and beautiful visuals. And I want to celebrate women's stories. I want to be part of women, like, similar to what you're doing here. It's a space in this case for me to celebrate my story, to remember, oh my gosh, I forgot I did this, I forgot who I am sometimes because I'm so busy every day. That's similar to what I'm doing in a more cinematic way, right? And just giving women a beautiful experience when you can celebrate yourself anytime. You don't need to wait for a wedding or for a special moment. You can celebrate your story anytime because you deserve it, and you can inspire so many other women. That's what I do in Contest Studio. Literally, it's like a full thing of who I am, pour into other women and help them flourish and just feel powerful.
You make women feel like they are superstars.
That's what I love. Yes, literally, that's what we do.
Why the name Conte?
Conte. So I wanted to find a short name that had some meaning, like a story, right? And I found this one, which means story in Italian, if I'm not mistaken. I have to ask my marketing girl because we were doing it together. But I think it's similar to tell, like a story. For example, that word, I don't know if I said it right. Tell. Good. Okay. So it's like tell story, and so it's Conte, and I added the accent because I think it looked nicer.
Elegant.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's pretty much story.
So you said this is your baby. When is the official launch of Conte Studios?
So we are launching in about 1 month. That's when we're gonna go literally on in social media and our website and everything. So it's pretty soon, maybe earlier, we'll see, but we're almost there. So people are gonna know and are gonna see, because this is very visual, what Conte is and how you can actually get the same experience for yourself.
And how can people book your services? Once you have everything launched, are you going to have a website and everything's going to be there, all the information?
Yes, so we're gonna have everything on our website. You can book. You can also. We're gonna have first like a how do you say this when you join the list?
Waitlist?
Wait list. We're gonna have a wait list. But yeah, everything's gonna be in Instagram and the website for sure.
Can I talk about my experience?
Oh yes, really?
Yeah.
Would you?
Is
We
it
love that.
secret or not yet? Can I talk?
So no, actually, I would love that, because at the end, everything I do and everything I did in this case, for you, it was part of like I want to pour into women, and of course, I would love to hear your feedback for sure.
I just didn't know if it's top secret or it could be spoken about, but I would love to share because Lola and we've recently connected, and she invited me to be one of the first-ish clients that she's going to work with, and she made me feel like I'm the most famous star on this earth, planet Earth, because it was a full planned day. Every single detail was executed, mind blown, like perfection. So we had a makeup done, hair done, outfits picked. She came up with the creative idea of how to share my story as a podcast host and as an event planner. And she basically enhanced my likes, my style, what I'm doing, and we shared a story through her questioning me, just like I'm questioning her now. So it was an interview that looks like a podcast, but it's really in a little different settings. And I just felt so empowered, confident, beautiful, on the top of the world, and it was all because of Lola, her planning, her creativity, her execution, and I don't know how you did this, but literally everything was like so tailored to me, who I am, what I do. I just couldn't think of anything more perfect than how you did this. And she also did it for our mutual friend, my great friend Natalie, and everything for her was literally her. Perfectly executed, customized to who she is, what she does, and it was such an easy going, flowing environment because of all the people, her staff, all the help. I could speak like for next 40 minutes about it. We also had great food and everybody was professional, very helpful, and I felt very comfortable with everybody, and I just can't wait for all the results. Yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't really speak much more about it, but
Thank
everybody's going to see it in hopefully less than a month on
Yes.
social media. I'm gonna share it, she's gonna share it, everybody's gonna see it. So yeah, I just want to say that it was absolutely perfect. It was definitely core memory type of day for me in my life.
Oh
It
my
was also
gosh.
Monday, and it was the best Monday of my life.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That was perfect,
Oh.
literally.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, because it means a lot to me, because that's literally every time I have a client coming, I take it like I'm all in, like I embrace, and I want to know everything about this person. I really like Conte Studio more than being a production company. It's like it's a whole experience. Like we take care of every detail because we want to make you feel like the star of your own movie, because you deserve it and you have such a beautiful story. And I really take care of everything. And hearing this from you is just like, wow, the fact that you felt that way.
Superstar.
It's for me, like, that's what I want, because, this all comes from, again, I used to work back in the day with the biggest celebrities in the world, like every artist that you can imagine. I think I work with everyone, and I got so used to treating them in this way that's also the Colombian blood, that we are very attentive
Hospitable.
and kind. So that was like back then a lot of artists and people like to work with me because I brought this, it's just natural that I'm carrying. And then in the same way, there's artists that they deserve everything, and to be honest, there's artists that they don't really deserve this treatment because it's different type of people, and I saw every type of people. And then when I was creating content studios, like the same way I may feel these celebrities, that's how I want to make feel the women that come to my studio to have this experience, because you deserve it and you need to feel like this empowered, like this celebrity style, like this start of your own movie, and embrace who you are. And when you say this, it's like, yes, that was the thing, because I don't think I even mentioned to you before, like that was the goal, literally.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
It was. So another thing she's done for this day was that one of the questions on the interview was, what would you say to, and she pulled out the pictures of myself when I was like 5 years old, and I'm like, like, where did you get these pictures from? Like, did you contact my mom or something? She doesn't speak Slovakian, I mean English or Spanish. I was like, how did she get these pictures? And she contacted my boyfriend and got the pictures, and I was like, like, I was like, oh my god, like the level of effort you put into this was like speechless. So yeah.
Thank you, honey.
I hope you're gonna achieve whatever you have planned with Contest Studios, because it's perfect idea, and I think every woman and man too deserves to feel like a special celebrity for a day.
100%. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect, and I cannot wait to share everything with everybody, because I'm sure this is going to be so successful, because we live in an era where everybody loves to talk, share their stories, their passions, talk about their businesses, and be fashionable and beautiful and prepared, and like, I can see this is gonna be extreme success.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
And
I wish you the best of the best.
yes, thank you so much. And
Of course.
every time I think about this and something, why I got obsessed. Yeah.
Obsessed.
Obsessed.
No, upset. We are not upset over here. Upset.
We're happy. Literally. Back then when I was a child, right? When I was a little girl, it's because for me, the fact that I can capture something today and then watch it in 5 or 10 or 15 or 30 years and remember, kind of go through it again, for me, that's such a magical thing. And nowadays it's easier, right? Because we have our phones, we're recording everything. But just now, if we go through our pictures of 5, 10 years ago, we're like, wow, like
so much growth.
right. And for me, that's also part of the experience. Like we're not gonna be this young again, right? So that's why I'm like, let's capture this, let's live the experience, because in 10, 20 years, you're gonna be so happy you did this, because you're gonna see yourself the best way, So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. And also another thing, like this whole experience with Lola and her contest studio, I just felt so powerful. Like, I felt like I can conquer anything, achieve anything, become whoever I want. And that's how I left your studio. And now when I look at the pictures, just those I have on the phone, because I don't have the footage, I'm like, wow, like, what a crazy day.
I love it.
I was like, wow. So
I
yeah,
know.
very excited for the results.
You're super powerful.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, this is your bright future calling you. What can I do for you today?
So I would love to ask you to keep me as healthy as you can every day of my life, to keep my family healthy, to keep my boyfriend super healthy. I just really want to make sure that I use my talents, that you help me use my talents and my gifts to impact people. I want to connect to millions of women. I want to help women to put themselves out there and to tell their stories, to inspire so many others, and make them feel amazing and beautiful and powerful, and to have the best memories of who they are. Um, I want to achieve all the dreams. I'm sure that I'm gonna get more dreams. I always have new dreams, so I'm sure I need you to help me with that, please. And I wanna make sure I have a nice family. Please help me keep growing as a woman and healing every part of me that needs to be healed, so I can in the future become a mother and like an amazing one and an amazing wife, and be there for my family and for the people I love. Um, and yeah, I just want to make sure I keep going and believing in myself and following my God. So I just ask you to give me the knowledge and everything to keep going and just keep building the life of my dreams.
Okay, your wish is my command.
Okay, sadly, we need to wrap up with the last 4 questions, which are one word answer questions.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when someone says America?
America, home. That's my home.
Home?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Literally.
What's the weirdest food you've tried in America?
I would say alligator has been the weirdest, definitely. Here in Miami, I try alligator.
What? Where?
Yeah.
How? Why?
I think it was in a burger's place. Somehow they had something alligator. I don't know if it was in the burger or somewhere on the side. But I tried it. I don't even remember how it tasted, but maybe it wasn't bad because I would remember if it was bad.
Oh my god. What is the most bizarre thing you've seen in Miami?
Oh, that's a
There's so many of them, I'm sure.
yeah. So many times there's so many bizarre things, and I'm out that much, so I can imagine if I was more often, it would be crazy. But I think I think I saw a couple times like people having weird sex in the street. Like like it was not nice to see. So I think that can be bizarre. Yeah, when you're just not really prepared to see.
But in Miami, we've seen it also. That's not even surprising me.
Yeah, it's not surprising, I guess. I don't know, it was crazy.
So, which American celebrity would you want to swap your life with for one day?
Definitely, that would be Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, yes.
Yeah, I would love to be in his head, in his mind for a moment and understand how his brain works and how everything around him works. I think he's just so amazing. I think he's the how you say that, like the dad of the mentors and everyone. He's like the top of the top, and I would just love being him for a moment and learn so much.
Have you been to any of his workshops, or however to say that?
I went to one of his events. It was amazing. He's so amazing. Like, I love him. I'm like, he's my crush, literally.
We won't tell your boyfriend.
No, I always tell him, and he's like, it's okay. He might be my crush too, because he's so amazing. So yeah, we have a little fight right there.
Yeah. I love him. He's amazing. I've done his business mastery.
Oh.
Perfect.
Yes.
Life-changing.
Everyone loves it.
All right. This episode is ending, which is very sad for me because I could keep talking to you, my dear Lola. So thank you again for being amazing guest and sharing your story and opening up and talking about all your beautiful plans and everything that you've been able to achieve. I'm very proud of you, and I just cannot wait to see what else you're gonna be able to accomplish and how you're gonna change the world. So yes, thank you again.
Thank you so much for this space, so beautiful. And I hope, that if I can inspire others somehow, that's what we're here for. Thank you. I love this. It was perfect and beautiful. We can do it every day.
Thank you. Gracias,
That's
gracias,
amazing.
gracias.
Thank you, amore.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Thank you so much for flying with Unstoppable Immigrant Airways. We hope this podcast brought you joy, motivation, inspiration, and connection. Feel free to share this episode with someone who really needs to hear it. And until next time, stay unstoppable.